Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Cook the Books. I'm your host CJ, and today we're back in my wheelhouse, my mojo dojo casa house. That is the NHL playoffs. As you guys know that watch the channel, I am the NHL guy here at Cook the Books. Everything else, I'm just the messenger. So don't shoot me if, one of those other days goes wrong. They're not my picks. But today, we got some NHL action. Boston versus Toronto back on. That is a banger of a series. Very excited to see how game 3 kicks off in Toronto. Then we got Dallas and Vegas again. Then we've got the Oilers and Kings to cap things off for the rest of the night. So 3 series that I really like, and it should be a great night of hockey. So far, it's been a beautiful playoffs for us. We are up, I believe it's 15 units now. I'll pop some of our hits up on screen, but we've done pretty well for the playoffs so far. So we're looking to keep that going tonight. And I got y'all with some player props, as always, powered by props.cash, code CTB for 25% off at checkout. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First prop we are going to be taking a look at is in that Oilers game. We're going to be taking a look at Adrien Kempe. This was a play that we were on in the Discord. We actually ran not only this play, but we ran his ladder all the way up to, I think it was 5 or 6 shots on goal. He ended up getting 5 in the game, so we cashed out big there. Then we also hit a lottery for a plus 1600 in this game. So we are definitely liking this series again tonight. I don't know what it is about this matchup, but when these two get together, there's just certain guys on each team that just show up all the time. And Adrien Kempe is one of those guys. We're looking at his over 2.5 shots on goal here. It's priced at a minus 135 on DraftKings. You can get it, and I personally took it on, FanDuel for minus 122. However, the only difference with that one is FanDuel, for whatever reason, is just being stupid as hell, and they are doing 60-minute lines only. So if the game goes into overtime and he hasn't hit yet, then if you do take it on FanDuel, then you will not be able to hit in that overtime period. So a little thing to be wary of there. If you guys, are not comfortable taking that 60-minute line, go ahead and take it at the 135 on DraftKings. But looking more at this prop, as you can see, he's hitting 88% of games against the Oilers, 23 out of 26 games with an average of 4.7. I mean, look at that. He's hitting 4 in almost all of these games. So, his line being at 2.5 and at a really good price, I would say, for that line. Definitely going to be smashing this line yet again. We hit in the game 1. I kind of expect the same people to show up again. As I mentioned, it's kind of the same guys that just show up for these games just time and time again, and Kempe is one of them. And if you look at him away, well, let's look at his home splits first. So at home this season against Edmonton, he was hitting 10 out of 12, so 83% hit rate. And then when you go on the road, which they are going to be in Edmonton tonight, he hit 13 out of 14, 93%. I don't know what it is about him playing on the road in Edmonton, but it's just a game that he gets up for. And then also to help out this prop, the Oilers are allowing the 5th most shots on goal to right wings on the season. So it benefits Kempe again. And then if we just look at him in the playoffs, I mean, the guy's night, he just doesn't miss against the Oilers. 7 for 7 with an average of 5.1. I mean, he's getting 4+ in all these games except for 1. So, I mean, these guys, they matched up last season in the first round of the playoffs. And this is what he did game 1, game 2, game 3. I mean, every game. So Adrien Kempe, I don't really need to say more about it. Adrien Kempe over 2.5 shots on goal. And that, again, minus 122 on FanDuel, but that's that 60-minute line. If you guys aren't comfortable with that and you want to have that little buffer just in case he doesn't hit and it goes to overtime. Personally, I don't think it's going to overtime, but if you do want that buffer, then minus 135 on DraftKings is your best line. Moving on to the next prop, we are going to be staying with that same game. Again, I talk about the same guys kind of showing up. Conor McDavid, Mick Jesus. He is one of those guys that shows up no matter what. We're going to be targeting McDavid's points here. So last game, he came in with an insane 5 assists. So a total of 5 points in that game. And, he's hit 2 or more in 3 straight now and 8 of the last 9. So we're going to be taking his over 1.5 points. That's going to be a minus 125 on DraftKings. And just looking at the head-to-head, he's hitting 17 out of the last 26 games versus the Kings. And then if you look at him at home, 9 out of the last 14 versus the Kings. And then if you just look at him on the season, I mean, 74% hit rate at home this season. Look at this chunk right here. The last 24 of the last 30, 14 of the last 15. The guy's he's just magic. I mean, he's one of the best. I personally think that he is the most talented player to ever play the game of hockey. As when it's all said and done, I think that's how it will stand. I mean, just his skating ability, his hands, his quickness, like everything about his game is just unreal. And then it all reflects in the stats. So I mean, he's hitting 14 in the last 15, getting 2+ in all these games. I mean, it's hard enough for guys to get a point. And over the last 15, he's averaging 2.5. I mean, that's why they call him McJesus. So again, another one that I don't really need to go too much into detail about. But I mean, yeah, you see the chart. Yes, he has good history versus the team. He shows up in the playoffs. Here, I'll show you his playoff chart real quick. In the playoffs versus the Kings, again, last year's series, the first 2 games he didn't show up. Obviously, that's different this year. He's definitely showed up in game 1, as he saw with 5. And then the rest of the series, he had 2 the entire series. So, I mean, McDavid over 1.5 points. Take it. DraftKings -125. Lock it in. Then moving on to our last prop, we're going to be taking a look at Brad Marchand, aka the Rat. He loves playing Toronto. They're going from Boston. They're going to be back in Toronto for game 3. This line is slightly juiced, so it's at a -145 right now on DraftKings, and I believe that's the best line. So if you're not comfortable with taking that, I'll show you another option that you can take that is, I think it's still plus money. But for this option, Brad Marchand, he loves playing Toronto, hitting 10 of the last 12. As you can see from the chart, he's over in 6 straight. And then if we look at him in the playoffs versus Toronto, he's got 3 points so far this series and hitting in both games. And if we look at him from just last year's playoffs, I mean, obviously this is against Florida last year, but just him in the playoffs, he's always good in the playoffs. He hit in 8 of the last 9 playoff games last year, and already this year he's hitting 2 of 2. So Brad Marchand, I like him to get a point tonight. But again, if you guys are uncomfortable with taking that -145, don't blame you. It's a little juiced. So I'll show you Jake DeBrusk. He's on that line with Marchand. Usually, if one guy's going to have a point, it's very rare in hockey that, it's going to be an unassisted goal. Like, you only get that if it's like a weird turnover type situation, just snipes it. But most times there's a setup play and there's going to be at least 1 assist, usually 2 assisters on the actual play. So this has kind of been a correlating thing. If you got 2 guys on the same line, which DeBrusk and Marchand play on, I believe it's the second line, and then they've been on the second power play, they might be changing up the power play this next game. There's still not really official word on that yet. That's why I would trust Marchand's point more, just because if anyone's getting bumped up to that top power play unit, which he was on previously, they just changed it up for the playoffs, it's going to be Marchand. So you're going to have, his 5-on-5 chances, and then you're going to have it when they're on the man advantage. So again, Marchand, I trust more, but DeBrusk plus money, he's a great option. He had 3 points in game 1, hit a point last game. I mean, I think he's going to have a really good playoff. And, he's a +110 right now. So I think that's good value. So again, Brad Marchand is the pick. But if you guys are not interested in taking that juice, then take DeBrusk, or another option could be Pavel Zacha as well. But that's all of our picks. Just recapping the card here, we are going to be going with Adrien Kempe over 2.5 shots on goal, Conor McDavid over 1.5 points, and then Brad Marchand to get 1 point. That is the full free betting card. Again, we are killing it this playoffs, up 15 units so far in 4 days. If you guys want to get in on all of my top picks, everything that I'm going to be playing for these NHL games, we also have one other NHL capper. So, we're going to be putting out all of our best bets in that Discord and running a lot more stuff than you're going to see on here or any of the other free stuff that we put out. So if you guys want all of that good stuff, link in the description down below is the VIP. Get it, try it out for a month. If you don't like it, cancel it. But anyways, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all things to help the channel grow. Let me know if you guys are following today's bets. If you guys are, good luck. And as always, let's cook the books.